Hello, welcome to Walk, Don't Run to the Doctor with Miles Hassell, MD. This is an evidence-based podcast for people who want to use lifestyle choices to avoid preventable illness, as well as to treat illness. Listeners will learn the choices that work for better health outcomes for themselves, the ones that they love, and the patients they care for. We want to see patients liberated from the burden of chronic disease whenever possible. Hello, I'm Miles Hassell, MD. You're listening to Walk, Don't Run to the Doctor. And today we're going to be talking about how you can have a fabulous time during the holiday period. Eat well, enjoy yourself, and not sabotage your health. Because good sense means you don't do dumb things. Good sense also means you enjoy what God has given us to enjoy. So let's think about what that means in practice. So, we've talked about having fun, enjoying yourself, enjoying your friends and family for those of us that have that, enjoying good food. And so there's the having fun and enjoying people and still having sane fun because we're adults. Just because cocaine is available doesn't mean we use it. And for some of us, then there's some foods that might as well be cocaine in terms of what it'll do to our health. So that probably seems like a really dramatic example, but think of it in terms of making a decision like an adult should make a decision or not. And so we're going to be talking about having fun, but sane fun. So you're going to be around a bunch of people perhaps that are not necessarily making great decisions. Don't worry about what they're doing. Let other people do their thing. Even if it's insane, just don't get dragged into their insanity. And as you're enjoying yourself, don't forget the long term. You don't want to be drooling in a nursing home. You don't want to have a heart attack or stroke in 10 years. You want to reverse your diabetes or your waistline problems if those are what you're dealing with. You don't want to have high blood pressure. You might want to get off your blood pressure drugs. These are all reasons to be making good decisions, but still decisions that you can enjoy. So, let's think about treats to start with, because that's often what people are thinking about around the holiday time. Have treats, limitedly. And we'll talk about how you can help your body not need treats more than limitedly. And one of them is sharing treats. So, for example, if my wife and I are somewhere and we feel like having a cookie, we will share a cookie. So we actually only end up with half a cookie. As long as it's a good cookie. If one of us takes a bite and says, this isn't worth the calories, then the other one gets the signal from the lifted eyebrow or whatever, and we say, you know what, we're not going to eat this. And whenever there's a healthy treat, go for that. So, for example, around this time of year, we often get a cumin Gouda cheese, and maybe there'll be some apples around, sliced apples. Well, for me, there's few treats that are better than cumin Gouda cheese and sliced apples. What would be the healthy treat for you? Who knows? It might be raw nuts and a banana. So think about always looking for what those healthy treats are available and have them generously and the unhealthy treats limitedly. And unhealthy treats you can think of as things with excessive sugars, excessive flour, especially white flour, weird oils, things you haven't made yourself primarily. And all of this involves planning ahead. Do you plan ahead for your holiday eating? You should. Right from the first time you get up in the morning to when you go to bed at night, always have a plan in your mind as to how you're going to be healthier tomorrow than you were today. And so that might mean, what are you going to bring? Are you going to bring homemade food rather than something store-bought? So if you use our book, Good Food, Great Medicine, you can see how you can make hummus in just a few minutes using an immersion blender or a food processor. Hummus and celery slices, hummus and cucumber, hummus and carrots, for most of us are very enjoyable and fill us up and keep us from eating dumb things. Plus, when you bring foods like that to a potluck, for example, you're giving an option for other people to make better choices too. Stay well fed. By that I mean, don't be hungry. Most of us make much worse decisions about food when we're hungry than if we're well fed. So that means you're surrounded by fruits and vegetables and protein foods of a healthy nature all the time. So it might be cold meat, apples, bananas, celery, carrots, cauliflower florets. It might be cooked leftover vegetables. Any number of things can be used for staying well fed so you don't make dumb decisions. Because you're an adult. Have I mentioned this before? You're an adult. You've got a backbone, and you mustn't pretend to be a victim around the holiday times. Just because there's good treats there, pretend they're cocaine. Bring good drinks. So staying hydrated is really important. And if you're staying hydrated, if you're somebody who drinks alcohol, you're unlikely to drink too much. Because drinking too much is pretty common, I think we can all agree, around the holiday period. Don't let that happen to you. So it's not that we're saying you can't drink alcohol at all, because we think small amounts of alcohol are probably good for you. But bring things like unsweetened sparkling mineral water. For bonus points, you can put a few drops of balsamic vinegar in that unsweetened sparkling mineral water, or some other flavor. There's all number of flavors out there. And bring a lot. So when we go to potlucks, we might bring many 1.5 liter bottles of flavored sparkling mineral water, because it's not just something for us. It's something to give a tool to other people who need to be avoiding high-calorie sweet drinks or high alcohol drinks that otherwise they might find themselves indulging in. If you're somebody who needs to lose weight or make better choices, keep an eye on what the healthy people in your group are doing. Notice what the slim people are eating. Notice what the fit people are eating. Now, they may not be good examples. I'm not saying this is a 100% rule, but it might help guide you and make you remember what is here that I can enjoy. So let's pretend the desserts include a pie that you really like. Have a slice of that pie. But before you have a slice of that pie, have some protein. So maybe you might have there might be some salmon or meat of some kind, poultry, turkey, chicken, whatever. Have some, maybe some cheese. Have some of those foods, maybe a fruit or a vegetable, and then have your slice of pie or half a slice of pie, because you might find somebody else you can share that pie with. So you still enjoy your pie, but you enjoy half a slice or slice, and you don't have two slices. Because if you're still hungry, you go back and have more protein, fruits, and vegetables, because protein, fruits, and vegetables are what keep you through the holidays in a healthy fashion. Don't not exercise. So often people with the busyness of the holidays, they find excuses not to exercise. There's no excuse not to exercise. Get out there 3 times a day, even if it's for only 1 minute each time, and exercise enough to keep you short of breath, even if it's only 1 minute. And people say, well, 1 minute 3 times a day, that can't possibly turn my health around. Want to bet? Before you say it won't work, try it. 1 minute, short of breath, 3 times a day. And that can be anything. So, right here in front of me, I have some light weights. There's no way you could not find yourself able to get yourself short of breath with some light weights in 1 minute. And you can fit that minute in even if you're making the world's best apple pie or hummus. You might want to keep this is called a grip strengthener. You might want to keep one of these in your kitchen or wherever you work, or maybe on your office desk, near a television if you have a television. I recommend you don't have a television, but anyway. And get in the habit of just using this as sort of a nervous habit. It looks a little weird, but it's really good, and it keeps you moving. Maybe a skip rope. Do something. Now, you're exercising. Other people who you might be with over the holidays probably need to exercise as well. So drag them along. Go for an after-dinner walk, an after-breakfast walk, a no reason at all walk, and walk briskly. Walk as briskly as their health allows and your health allows, because walking pace is actually strongly associated with whether you live well or don't live well. So walk briskly as you can, as briskly as your health allows, and drag somebody else along. Make a tradition of holiday exercise. And did I mention 3 times a day? Not a bad idea. Some people are really concerned about offending others. So Aunt Marge brings her world famous cheesecake, and she wants you to enjoy the world famous cheesecake because it's her thing. And it might be a phenomenal thing. You might be drooling over it. So You say to Aunt Marge, yes, I'd love a little bit of your cheesecake, but I can only have a little bit. You're going to go and have another piece of protein first, maybe some fruit and vegetables. And then you're going to go back to Aunt Marge and say, I'm ready to enjoy your cheesecake. And you take the smallest slice you possibly can. And then you turn to somebody else and say, wow, this is phenomenal cheesecake. How about if you have some too? And so you spread the cheer. And that way you won't offend and you can still enjoy that cheesecake. All of this is built around the concept of planning ahead. Because so right now, as we're talking, you're thinking to yourself, how can I make the holidays healthier? And there's a proverb in the Bible that talks about this. It goes like this, something like this. The wise man foresees the evil and prepares for it. The simple look on and are punished. You don't want to be punished with high blood pressure, stroke, heart attack, cancer. You want to feel good. You want to feel good now, and you want to feel good in 5 years, and you want to feel good in 10 years. So don't do dumb things. So relevant to this whole holiday discussion is a letter that we got from a listener. And it goes like this. So I'm just going to read it out as she wrote it. So don't blame me for the English, okay? These weird things keep appearing in my break room at work, starting in Halloween with all my coworkers' kids' candy. On the break room counters just accumulate junk food throughout the holiday season. I have trouble avoiding weird stuff like caramel corn that I typically wouldn't eat, but I eat it because it's there. I ask my coworkers if they can keep this stuff out of sight in a cupboard or a freezer, and they look at me like I'm nuts and just say, if you don't want to eat it, don't. I wonder if some of my trouble comes from being pretty poor and not having good food as a kid. I know my snacking habits are bad for my health. I'm frustrated. I'm thinking about leaving my job. What should I do? And I think we can all sympathize with the idea of tables groaning with delicious food that's not good for you. That's not uncommon in our overfed society. So what do? So first of all, you remind yourself that you're an adult, that you're not a victim. Having too much food is not the position of a victim. You've got your health to worry about. So go back to the planning idea. The wise man foresees evil and prepares for it. So you stay well fed. Fruits, vegetables, protein, coffee, tea, sparkling water. These are the things that are going to have you well fed and well hydrated, so you're not going to be as vulnerable to bad food. Secondly, you're thinking about, why am I avoiding bad food? I'm avoiding bad food because I want to avoid disease. I want to avoid feeling poorly. I want to avoid being on medications. I especially want to avoid going to see doctors. And so with all that mental processing, you're going to be finding it much easier to walk past the treat that you shouldn't have. Thirdly, maybe it's a fabulous treat. Maybe we've talked about Aunt Marge's special cheesecake before. My vulnerable spot might be a particularly good-looking cinnamon roll. I don't need to have a whole cinnamon roll. I can have a wedge of cinnamon roll after I've had some protein, fruit, or vegetables, like maybe an apple and cheese or something like that. Have my wedge of cinnamon roll, enjoy it immensely, without guilt. Please whoever made the cinnamon roll if it's homemade, or if it wasn't homemade, take some of the temptation away from somebody else. I will also be a good example to others who should be avoiding eating a whole cinnamon roll. And they see me eating a wedge, an eighth of a cinnamon roll, and they say, you know what? That's probably enough for me too. So I enjoy my cinnamon roll to the extent that I have it. I'm a good example for others. I'm building my own health for the future because I'm predominantly relying on fruits, vegetables, and proteins and good drinks rather than indulging myself. So think of every opportunity in life as an opportunity to take better care of yourself and also better care of those around you, those you love, which hopefully is everybody around you. In summary, holidays are a time that you can make wonderful. Don't lose sight of the fact that you want to stay healthy. Stay well fed with fruits, vegetables, and protein foods. Anything from cheese to meat to poultry to salmon to whatever. If nothing else, open up a can of tuna. A can of tuna with a blob of homemade mayonnaise and some hot sauce is a pretty good quick snack that will stick to your ribs. Stay well hydrated. Coffee, tea, unsweetened mineral water, these are all associated with better health outcomes and keep you from making other dumb choices. Share treats. Don't be selfish. Share your treats, and that way you'll have less of them, and you'll still enjoy them, because it's always the first or second bite that's the best. Stay active. Help other people be active too. So holiday hikes with friends, ping pong, plank competitions. These are all things that bring people together and can be just a blast. And through all this, don't be self-righteous. Be, by your gentle example, help other people make good choices too, but don't give them a bad time about their choices. This is a time for good times, not for self-righteous times. Thank you.